All right, we're back. Chapter 5 continued. Amory eased the bedroom door open quietly, only a crack, and peeked out. Behind her, Ellen was sitting up, her eyes wide. She could see Mama and Papa in their night clothes moving about. Mama held a lighted candle, but as Amory watched, she went to a lamp and switched it on. It was so long a time since they had dared to use the strictly rationed electricity after dark that the light in the room seemed startling to Amory. Watching through the slightly open bedroom door, she saw her mother look automatically to the blackout curtains, making certain that they were tightly drawn. Papa opened the front door to the soldiers. "This is the Johansson apartment." A deep voice asked the question loudly in the terribly accented Danish. "Our name is on the door, and I see you have a flashlight," Papa answered. "What do you want? Is something wrong?" "I understand you are a friend of your neighbors, the Rosens, Miss Johansson," the soldiers said angrily. "Sophie Risen is my friend, that is true," Mamma said quietly. "Please, could you speak more softly? My children are asleep." "Then you will be so kind as to tell me where the Rosens are." He made no effort to lower his voice. "I assume they are at home sleeping. It is 4 in the morning after all," Mamma said. Anne-Marie heard the soldiers stalk across the living room toward the kitchen. From her hiding place in the narrow silver of open doorway, she could see the heavy uniformed man, a holstered pistol at his side, in the entrance to the kitchen, peering in toward the sink. Another German voice: "The Rosens' apartment is empty. We are wondering if they might be visiting their good friends, the Johanssons." "Well," said Papa, moving slightly so that he was standing in front of Anne-Marie's bedroom door, and she could see nothing except the dark blur of his back. "As you see, you are mistaken. There is no one here but my family. You will not object if we look around?" The voice was harsh, and it was not a question. "It seems we have no choice," Papa replied. "Please don't wake my children," Mama requested again. "There is no need to frighten little ones." Ellen swallowed. "Lise," she said and cleared her throat. "Lise Johansson." The officer stared at them grimly. "Now," Mama said in a strong voice, "you have seen that we are not hiding anything. May my children go back to bed." The officer ignored her. Suddenly he grabbed a handful of Ellen's hair. Ellen winced. He laughed scornfully. "You have a blonde child sleeping in the other room, and you have this blonde daughter." He gestured toward Anne-Marie with his head. "Where do you get the dark-haired one?" He twisted the lock of Ellen's hair. "From a different father? From the milkman?" Papa stepped forward. "Don't speak to my wife in such a way. Let go of my daughter, or I will report you for such treatment." "Or maybe you got her someplace else," the officer continued with a sneer. "From the Rosens." For a moment no one spoke. Then Anne-Marie watched in panic, saw her father move swiftly to the small bookcase and took out a book. She saw that he was holding the family photograph album. Very quickly he searched through its pages, found what he was looking for, and tore out 3 pictures from 3 separate pages. He handed them to the German officer, who released Ellen's hair. "You will see each of my daughters, each with her name written on the photograph," Papa said. Anne-Marie knew instantly which photographs he had chosen. The album had many snapshots, all the poorly focused pictures of school events and birthday parties, but it also contained a portrait taken by a photographer of each girl as a tiny infant. Mama had written in her delicate handwriting the name of each baby daughter across the bottom of these photographs. She realized, too, with an icy feeling, why Papa had torn them from the book. At the bottom, hold on just a second. Sorry, guys, Brody was wanting in. At the bottom of each page, below the photograph itself, was written the date, and the real Lise Johansson had been born 21 years earlier. "Kristen Elizabeth," the officer read, looking at Kirsty's baby picture. He left the photograph fall to the floor. "Anne-Marie," he read next, glanced at her, and dropped the second photograph. "Lise Marguerite," he read finally, and stared at Ellen for a long, unwavering moment. In her mind, Anne-Marie pictured the photograph that he held. The baby, wide-eyed, propped against the pillow, her tiny hand holding a silver teething ring, her bare feet visible below the hem of an embroidered dress. the wispy curls dark. The officer tore the photograph in half, dropped the pieces on the floor. Then he turned. Hold on just a second. Then he turned the heels off his shiny boots, grinding into the pictures, and left the apartment. Without a word, the other two officers followed. Papa stepped forward and closed the door behind him. Amory relaxed the clenched fingers of her right hand, which still clutched Ellen's necklace. She looked down and saw that she had imprinted the Star of David into her palm. All right, guys, that was chapter 5. It holds your attention, doesn't it? Very scary time that they were living in. And do you imagine how Ellen was feeling? I couldn't imagine. All right, we will read chapter 6 tomorrow. See you guys.